Madoff, yeah. Where is it? I just got the report in. Chairman of Chapman Computer Systems. Now, this is listed in New York. Has resigned, Mr. Raju, we'll call him, from his position after he said that he lied. It must be related to Madoff. Regarding the company's profits and its assets, Mr. Raju said in a statement that the company's assets had been falsified and their profits were inflated over a period of years. It didn't happen yesterday. It's been going on for a long time. Chapman shares, once one of the leaders in the Indian stock market, have fallen by 60% today. And the depth of these lies is quite astonishing. In the early reports, we were told that of the 53.6 billion rupees that Satyam supposedly had in the bank at the end of September, only 3.2 billion are real. I mean, that is bad. I'll give you those two figures again. They said they had 53.6 billion rupees. They only got 3.2. Wow. And you're going to see lots and lots of these. And the business community is just a bunch of crooks. And they were allowed to run right. Now, again, the SEC has plenty of time to chase small and little, medium-sized firms and brokers and newsletter writers, accusing them of things that they never did, forcing them to defend themselves, and do nothing about this. This is listed on the New York Stock Exchange. Give me a break. They had to have known about this. They can't be that stupid. This is the kind of protection America's got. Zero. All they do is protect the big corporate interests, the big brokerage firms in Wall Street, the banks, the insurance companies. They're a protective mechanism for the Illuminists. They don't give one hoot about you. And the good people in the industry, all they do is harass them. I talked to a man the other day who's been a subscriber for a number of years. Let me think back. Maybe 14, 15 years. And he owns a brokerage firm. And he's in California. And I've met him personally several times. And he's selling out his interest in his brokerage firm. He's 60. To the men who work with him. And he said, we followed everything that you've recommended. And he said, we've been so prosperous for ourselves and our clients. It's unbelievable. We've got you to thank for it. And on and on. But the reason I'm telling you this is another reason. And that is, he said, I'm sick and tired of having the state, the NASD, and the SEC in my office perpetually. I happen to pay accountants and auditors and attorneys to defend myself against things I never did. And they find one number out of place, and they fine me $50,000. I can't put up with it any longer. Now, that's what I put up with. From 1967 on, I got attacked by the United States government, and particularly the SEC, because I was in that business. I get audited 14 years in a row by the IRS. I mean, you talk about political persecution. God knows how many times I've been threatened by the government. And they can't catch Satyam. They can't find out that Bernard Madoff is stealing money from everybody. For those of you who are subscribers, you've seen the information that has been sent to me by some of my research people. This Madoff caper involves a whole bunch of people, including the SEC. The government knew about it. The major firms were involved. J.P. Morgan Chase, Union Bank Suisse. Greenwich was nothing but a cutout. This money was stolen. There was no pyramid scheme. It was just stolen. And whether it'll come out or not, I don't know. But I will continue to carry what I'm carrying. And you'll continue to get the real truth in the International Forecaster. Because they ain't going to stop me. And they know I have no fear. I used to work for them. And we're going to get to the bottom of it and find out who did what to whom. But I don't think Madoff's the big player. There's others.
Bob, other countries, do they have the same degree of corruption? Do they have the same, well, we all know governments are corrupt, but they're
all the same.
They're all the same.
There are exceptions from time to time, but they're all the same. I mean, in Germany you've got 3 major parties, and actually 2, and the corruption's unbelievable. In England, the backhander, which is the payoff, is commonplace, and that goes for everybody in the Commonwealth. And that includes Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, Canada, people, countries that used to be part of the British Commonwealth. They all have the same mentality. And then you get in the Latin American countries, it's institutionalized. And, I talked to a fellow the other day who runs what the equivalent in one of those countries of the IRS for collection purposes. And it's sort of like one for me, one for you, one for me. What does that mean? It means that this fellow goes out to company A and says, the company A, we find that you owe us about $200,000 with used dollars. And the company's going to look at it and say, hey, yeah, I guess we do. Can we make a deal? And he's going to say, yeah. You give me $20,000. You give the government $100, and we'll forget the other $100. Now that's institutionalized corruption, and but everybody knows how the system works, and people are willing to live with that kind of a system. From time to time, you do have revolutions in countries, but they don't happen usually but every 100 years or something. And but all countries are corrupt. But the most corrupt of all is the United States. I lived in this United States for 60 years. And I was brought up that we were the good guys. We didn't lie, cheat, and steal. We tried to do the best we can. We were fair with people and all of the things that you older people remember. Ain't that way anymore. It is totally and thoroughly, irretrievably corrupt. And it's not only government. It's corporations, Wall Street banks, insurance companies, and the people who are behind the government controlling it. And believe me, they're deathly afraid because they've opened the window of opportunity to put in their world government that Mr. Kissinger says that Mr. Obama is going to bring us. And when they open that window up, they also allow us to fly free. And if they lose, they're dead. And they know it. Because they know that there's people like me out there who know all of the people involved, who to try, who to put in jail, who to hang or guillotine, and where to get all of their assets. And that's what's going to happen to them. And they're deathly afraid of that. Because if you read the interview, and this man has been saying this for 10 years. He's a professor in Moscow. His name is Igor Panarin. And he's been saying that for 10 years, that he believes that, incidentally, he's the head of the Foreign Ministry's Academy for Future Diplomats as well. He's a former KGB analyst. And I have great respect for the KGB because I used to work against them. And they are not dumb people. The Russians are very smart people, and the KGB was every bit as equal as we were in counterintelligence. And he says America's going to break up in 6 sections because they're going to have revolution. And I'll be reporting that in Saturday's issue.
Yeah, I saw that. It is interesting, Bob.
No, let me tell you what it is. It's the truth. And, the Russians have had nothing but misery up until 15 years ago, or whatever it is.